Good. You're missing one, though.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another Kerfuffle webinar, joined by the marvellous Charlotte Jeffrey Campbell. How are you? From Able Agent, the Able Agent.
Good. Last Zoom call of the day. So looking forward to chatting to you as always.
That was just laced with sarcasm.
It was genuine. I'll repeat that. Really?
I'm sorry. Look, this is my my congratulatory ring around, and I did say ring around, to tell everybody who obviously got nominated at EA Masters. You were nominated in the top 40, obviously, in terms of innovation, and top 10. I think you were in leadership, weren't you? Was it your top 10 leadership?
Masterclass.
Masterclass. That makes absolute sense. So, for those people that don't know, first of all, obviously, congratulations, very, very well deserved. Give agents a brief elevator pitch of what Able Agent is about and what problem it's solving.
I mean, basically, it grew out of the need for training to be accessible to agents, and also training to be estate agency, lettings, customer service, property management, sales skills, all in one place. And I don't think there's anybody out there that does everything all in one place. You either go one place for your lettings, one place for your estate agency, one for your sales skills. So we created that, and then alongside it, we've created a new level 3 off-qual regulated qualification, which means not only do you train your team, get them winning more business, but you're also preparing for any potential licensing and regulation, because at the end of all your study, if you want to, you can rock up to a test centre, sit your exam in one exam, and you're, if you pass, qualified to apply for your licence when ROPA comes in, or if ROPA comes in.
Yeah, I mean, that's on the horizon, isn't it? And what's your gut feel on that? Just
my gut feel is it will come in, and I know a lot of people I speak to aren't sure, but you speak to the department and there are people designated to work on ROPA. They're not at the moment, as you can imagine. They've all been seconded off to different areas to look after the COVID pandemic, but there is a team that are focusing on this, and they're a great bunch. So, and I think there's, as everyone keeps saying, cross-party support. So I think it'll happen. I don't know when, but it will happen.
See, Kerfuffle right at the centre of political intrigue and discussion. That's what it was always my dream there. And it is great. And actually, I always talk about it in my very simplistic things. You know, we've always encouraged, I've always raved about, you know, trainers like your good self, you know, the Adam Walkers, the Julian O'Dells, lots of fantastic ones out there. It's always been a really big frustration of mine that whilst many agents talk about, you know, really valuing training and development, that doesn't always seem to follow through to actually, taking you guys up. And when you look at that, it becomes a bit more obvious, doesn't it? Because literally the cost of obviously sending a trainer out for the whole day, the hotels and everything else, it has an inherent cost, doesn't it, because of that? And if, you know, training should be consistent, and by nature there's a lot of it there, isn't it? So what you've done, which I think is absolutely incredible, is that you've Netflixed this up, haven't you? Really, let's be honest. First of all, people want to do things on their time and place. You know, they want to be mobile. You know, they want to. I believe the phrase, the nomenclature is to consume. You consume training, don't you? Isn't that the way you say it? And to be able to do it, consume it in bite-sized blocks, isn't it? And you've got all of those different elements, and for I won't leave you to say it, for an incredibly great value thing. This is the future, isn't it? This is the future as I see it, taking it down from an elite level of one-to-one training in an office to actually get us out there to meaningfully make a difference with estate agents across the whole industry.
Yeah, and that's my passion. I've always been the trainer. I've always volunteered to be the one who trains other people in all the jobs I've done. And I've done every job in a estate agency you could possibly imagine. So I've always been the one that wants to help people around me, because if you've got good people around me, you do better. Everyone does better. And for me, the online training side of things means that I can pick what I want to study. If I want to know about what an easement is or a covenant, I can find it. If I want to know how to overcome objections, I can find it. If I want to have a really good idea about upselling to property management, I can find it. And I can do it in any order I like, because it fits me as an individual. Or it's about the business owner saying, this is my problem that I need to solve in my business. How do I then piece it together and get my staff to do it? But the biggest problem with training, and I love training face-to-face, I love sitting in a room, getting the buzz, and the people love it. And I think there's a place for that still when we can. But I think being able to send them away and have something to go back to and refer to just improves the retention, because no matter how brilliant you are as a trainer, you're not going to get everyone to absorb everything in that day, and it's too much information in a day. So being able to have your brilliant day, come away motivated if you need to, and then go back to online is great. Or you just use online and support your teams like that. It's so flexible. That's what's the clever thing about it.
It's that. Just while I think I got this up just to explain again a little bit about the problem you solved, the innovation that was actually submitted into EA Masters, and actually it is relevant now, isn't it? Because we were talking off camera where we were talking about how challenging it is for the events providers. And you made the point, yes, it is, but actually it's accelerating things that were going to happen anyway. So what they will come back with next year, and talking to Nighty the other day, he's absolutely convinced that when we're allowed to do face-to-face in events again, that it's not like they're going to forget all this digital stuff. That digital platform that they invested so much time and energy into will absolutely perfectly segue into it, won't it, into the main event itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's the same with training, isn't it? You can have a great day out, or you can do a great day out with yourself, with your team. It doesn't have to be that you pay a trainer to do it, but then you go away and say, right, follow this path. This is the program that we suggest you follow. This is the mission statement we have as a business. This is where you get that skill to do it well. And new starter training in this industry has always been such a tricky one, because, as you said, sit with Doris. I use Nelly. With Nelly. Sit with Nelly and learn all Nelly's bad habits, But at least now you can sit with Nelly, but Nelly's not under pressure, because Nelly can use the resource as well to help. That's the key.
Just as long as it's not Facebook Karen, I've had enough of her. She's doing my The other thing, though, that really appeals to me, and I know talking to some of your clients, is that ability to, of course, not just make sure that the staff have actually seen the training video and everything else, but make sure they've absorbed it. So to be able to have questions at the end of that, and to keep taking it there, done in a very simple. It doesn't feel like you're sat down doing an exam, does it? It's very relevant, very pertinent, very quick to fill that in, and actually at the end of it, coming up with certification and qualifications around it. Again, I think as much as anything, this is about self-development for the staff, isn't it? I mean, I can well imagine you will be getting, if you're not already, I bet you've got people, staff members, pleading for their bosses to invest in this kind of technology.
We do, and we've got people contacting us because they want to pay for themselves. We've got people whose bosses are really proactive. But I think for me, it's the way we've developed the qualification, because it's estate agency and lettings in one qualification. No one else does that. I mean, it's crackers, isn't it, that we're expecting the industry, who should be a generalised property expert industry, to choose, well, either I'm lettings or I'm sale. That's rubbish. You should be competent in all areas, really, of the industry, even if you favour one in your career path.
Otherwise, how are you meant to spot those opportunities for cross-selling, aren't you?
Absolutely. And then then our logic was, well, actually, people change job roles all the time, so let's give them a tool to be able to do that. So you go from lettings to sale, you go on to Able Agent, you follow the relevant courses, you're prepared. You can then, once you've done your core qualification, actually go and sit what we call our specialisms. So you do your basic knowledge. I'm competent in estate agency law, sales skills, lettings law, sales skills, but then I might progress and do the sales progression module, and I'm an expert in sales progression or auction or property management. Or leadership and management, which we're going to develop next, listing and property structure. I mean, everyone needs to know about property structure, but who trains in that for listers? It very rarely happens, but you should understand it, even at a basic level. So we've got loads of ideas: digital marketing, social media, land and new homes would be another obvious choice. Buying agents, again, all these specialisms that meant you could be CPAP as your letters after your name, and then you can be specialism, and your ROPA ticked, your staff progression ticked, your CPD ticked, and it costs you, as you say, buttons. At the moment, prices will go up when we sell more, when more people are signed up. I tell you what.
I like what you've done there. I like your soft sell. That was impressive. Getting now, scarcity. Now. And the other thing is, of course, is fantastic. You're obviously up on the Kerfuffle website. You've got, again, hard to see why you were nominated for this. 5-star reviews there from your loyal client base as well. And look, I said it's cheap enough as it is. You've actually got they're offering even more of that already.
Absolutely. And we had a sign up from you today. So I had a for me today, signed up, job done. So Kerfuffle works as well, she says.
You. Just to be clear, we genuinely didn't agree that off camera. Excellent. Well, that'll be a first, me actually creating a business that works. Okay. Just one final thing that occurred to me as well. Obviously, Rishi announced today, as was to be expected, the extension of the furlough scheme. And important to point out that training is absolutely allowed, within that, rather than having those staff return ring rusty. In March or whatever else, what better opportunity to get them to have this time, energy here to really broaden their skill set so that actually they're ring ready when they come back.
I've got a call tomorrow with an agent who rang me up to say they're already clients of ours. They said, we've got a girl, she's just started, but unfortunately she's had to go on furlough. I'm doing a session with her tomorrow for an hour to get her motivated and excited about Able Age. And if she's off for 3 or 4 months, she'll, I reckon, at the end of it, be able to sit her qualification, and that's her done. That's her prepared, apart from any top-up that regulation might need. But what a fantastic opportunity in what could have been a really tough time. And I'm looking forward to chatting to her because she's so excited about being able to do the studying. I think so many people want to study. Agent bosses need to listen, I think, that actually from the bottom up, people are really keen to have a badge and be recognised as being professional, more and more so. And even with the older agents, I say to them, look, well, if you're good at your job, I'm not being funny, you should be able to pass an A-level style, an A-level value, level 3 qualification that is your job role. So even the older guys, don't be scared of qualifications. Everyone's getting all stressed about it and leaving the industry. You don't need to. Ours will recognise what you know and you'll fly through. So all good.
Hang on a minute. Where's your cut-off point for older guys? You weren't talking about me. Not Peter Pan, 7 years old.
But there's a lot of talk, isn't there, that we're going to lose skilled people, which I think is fundamental. And I don't think we should be having that talk. No. I think age is irrelevant, and I think I'm really proud of what we've done with our qualification. We've written it for agents, by agents, in the style they'll understand. They shouldn't be scared of regulation. It's a good thing.
That's really interesting. Just as an interesting point there, there is definitely a real groundswell of staff members these days wanting that self-development. Has it always been there, or is this a relatively? It's not. I didn't know whether it was because we see things like Josh Feig and Tom Panos. There's a whole wealth now of like webinars and podcasts, isn't there? I didn't know whether it was kind of that kind of culture that had created this bit of a spark, or whether actually it was always just there and we've just not had a way of reaching it.
I think it's that. I think it's purely and simply accessibility. And I think even as a negotiator, my boss wasn't bothered about me joining the NAA. I'd have loved to join the NAA or Property Mark as it is now. It just wasn't ever considered important. But I would have done it. And I think being able to talk to individuals and saying, look, you have a choice. This is your career, whether your employer pays or not. Chris Watkin did a great video with an Australian trainer, I think, and he said, he won't train anyone if they wouldn't be prepared to pay for the training themselves. Well, I think that's a little far-fetched because I think employers should support their teams. I think it should be the employer paying for it. But I think if you've got an employer who isn't, ours is a really great solution that, you can study.
That's really interesting. I mean, one of the things I was always amazed at when I went to AREC, their big EA Masters, Esther style events over there, was that the vast majority of the people there, the agents, had paid themselves. Sometimes the business would pay for the meals and some of the other stuff around it, but actually the actual ticket to the event itself was often paid for because they did value the self-development.
Absolutely, and I think it's really important. We've done a video. One of our guest experts was Lee Woodward from Australia. I don't know if you know him. He did a great interview with me. It was about midnight, pitch dark here and crack of dawn with him there. But really good. He got some great ideas and insights. And I think that's one of the things we're trying to do with Able Agent is it's not just the voice of knowledge and passing a qualification. We've got all these guest experts that come in. I don't know, you should be a guest expert. I don't know what you'd be a guest expert in. But
You'd have to have a watershed or some sort of X-rated room.
But it is that balance of hearing different voices. And I think that is why podcasts are brilliant. I say, go out there, listen, sign up to the podcast, listen to people talking. You learn so much, even if you don't want to go down the formal training route. There are so many opportunities to train now, which, I will always encourage. And I would also say that I love our qualification. I think it's brilliant. But if I think that the ALA qualification is the right one for a negotiator, I'll tell them, because that's the whole point. It should be the right training, the right qualification for that person, that individual.
Perfect. Well, look, congratulations again, Charlotte. Absolutely excited, fascinated to want to see. As you know, I think it's one of those essential tools every agent should have if they really want to deliver on the training developments. They can obviously reach out to you directly at the Able Agent, drop us a line at hello@kerfuffle.com, or, of course, go and have a look at those reviews on your landing page, Able Agent, on kerfuffle.com, and just click I'm interested. Now's the perfect time, isn't it? So, Charlotte, once more, congratulations and thanks.
Thank you very much. No, good fun. Lovely to talk to you. And, it's great to have you supporting us as well. We appreciate it.
No, great working with you. Cheers.